Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, in the game The Last of Us, one thing that I really noticed that stuck out to me is the constant need to craft items and how different players will use the stealth method more, and the stealth method seems way more realistic than just endless ammo. And you had to do a lot of searching in the game to get stuff to level up your weapons. And you find weapons manuals hidden throughout. It's not as simple as like the whole money and then you pay for it and stuff like that. Certain games, it's the way you level up is different. But in The Last of Us, you have to actually look for items, and there's this constant need of exploring because you need to make sure you don't overlook a new manual, right, for how to upgrade. And if you think about how realistic that is, it's sort of mind-blowing, because in an apocalyptic situation, you would lose ammo pretty fast if you didn't have a storage. And in countries where only the military has weapons, if an outbreak happened over there, well, now you're in some serious trouble. Because now the criminals will obviously have money to get weapons, and they'll be the new faction who rules over you while you have nothing. And this game keeps you motivated in a unique sense because how often the players have to stop and craft items, and how the smarter player is always seeing what they can craft before they engage with the clickers and the bloaters and stuff. In the Witcher game, the crafting was so expansive that it's a bit overwhelming. And in Red Dead Redemption 2, you find herbs, and you go to that guy in the woods who can make you a cool hat because you got some pelt and stuff, which is okay. But for some reason, the way The Last of Us does their crafting, it isn't boring to watch. Because if someone plays Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or any of really the Assassin's Creed games, when you go to the panel and you have to select like the items and they pile up, you have to sell some, it's not as fun. Yeah, you see what it looks like on the player, but the crafting like that just doesn't draw you in, and you want to skip through it as a viewer. But in The Last of Us, it's almost more ASMR in a way. It has a sort of soothing effect that I found to be relaxing and realistic. And so, if they make a third one, I don't think they will. But if a future game wants to do something similar, I would argue that having more hidden stuff like that throughout all the ruins would be quite fun, actually. That's not too hard to find, but some rare items that allow you to get like an extension or something, right? Because in an apocalyptic situation, I feel like our brains would become really focused not on hoarding but gathering, because now we're in the scarcity mindset. We have now plentiful stuff. But take, for example, how people started hoarding stuff when lockdowns first started happening. Toilet paper ran out real fast. And pastas. Like, people were snatching up pastas, rice, and toilet paper, and hand sanitizer left and right. So, we have in our brains this primal need to gather supplies and have a storage. So The Last of Us game taps into that in a way, which I found to be very creative and albeit addictive as you play and as you watch. So has a twofold concept. And when you see games that are just all machine gunning zombies, it's just too much noise, like and you're like, that's just lame. But this game allows you to use different items and to craft in a way that's not overly complicated. And so I do recommend, when you buy a game, you think about, what would it be like to have to constantly craft in this game if you had to live it? Because it's a fun exercise. But that's something that I did enjoy with the game. And the fact that you have to take the backpack off and and the screen is not too large, right? I thought that was pretty cool. In other games, it's like takes up and it separates you from the actual gameplay. In Far Cry Primal, I can pause and then you add it goes in, and then it returns you back to the game. But The Last of Us doesn't interrupt your gameplay too much, so it's a pretty smooth transition. Like, you can be crafting while hiding and crouching, and there's like a bloater on the other side. I found that to be pretty cool. And in scenes where there's like a chaos, you can be like crafting something quick. And when you gather resources in the game, your brain immediately goes to, what can I craft right now? So that you run out of that item and then you can gather more of it, you see? So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me know what you think. It's a small detail, but the small details are what add to the likability factor of the game. And so I can say I would give it 5 out of 5 stars. MashaAllah.